Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you another My Hero Academia review, this time episodes 16 and 17. Once again, I apologize for taking so long. I kind of didn't feel like trying to record this over the last couple of days, just not for any real particular reason, just because it was, my work schedule's been kind of crummy. And I just yesterday got to watching the new episodes just because I haven't really had time to find a good place to watch it, which has been frustrating. But also because, like, I just didn't feel like doing it. Sometimes work just gets a little too much for me, so I just had to take a break. I also took a break last week because my schedule was so hectic. Oh, the stupid hair is sticking up in the back. Oh well, that's whatever. Having a bad hair day. So yeah, it took me a little bit to get to wanting to review. I figured I should, especially because I'm hoping this weekend to pick up the next volume of My Hero Academia, which came out on the 7th, which was I'm looking at the calendar. Like Tuesday? Yeah, like Tuesday. So I'll be going up to Erie. There's not a lot of bookstores around Conneaut Lake, Pennsylvania, so I have to go either to like Pittsburgh or Erie to find a good bookstore. So I'll be going there to try and pick that up. Kind of a shame we don't have an actual date for the rest of the Vigilante series. I actually really liked Vigilantes. I probably should do a review of that at some point. I meant to do it when it came out, but then I never got around to doing it. I probably should do like a review of Vigilantes. Maybe when the next volume comes out, I'll pick up both and just give my thoughts on Vigilantes. Which, I mean, granted, I can tell you right now, it's pretty good, especially considering it's not written by Horikoshi. So anyway, getting into 16 and 17, we begin the provincial hero license exam. The first part being about the UA crush and about Midoriya's interaction with Cammy, as well as seeing more of Aizawa's relationship with Miss Joke, which I really don't consider it like a relationship. I have nothing against Miss Joke. I find her okay. I just think a lot of fans want to put her and him together just because like she's like the only other female that he's ever ran into, and I find that weird because like Miss Joke's whole thing is she wants to constantly activate her quirk on him to make him laugh. And don't get me wrong, I get it. She clearly wants him to actually enjoy laughing, not like, but like still you're using your quirk in kind of a villainous way in my opinion. But, I mean, granted, she's clearly a hero. I just find it weird that she's wanting to do that sort of thing to him. I do like that they leave in the thing about how like Aizawa thinks she offers him gum, and Aizawa thinks it's the kind of gum that like is like a mouse trap that when you pull it out, there's like a mouse trap and it snaps on your fingers. And but no, it's actually gum. Actually, like I don't think they give like a look to the gum box. But in this version, it's clearly like an All Might brand gum, which was hilarious because All Might's face is on everything in this universe. But yeah, so the first episode is more or less as the manga goes. It basically has the UA students getting dispersed by the kid that looks like Midoriya. I cannot remember most of the new characters' names in this. I cannot remember most of the Shinketsu High characters' names except for Cammy. I'll probably remember the dude with the whirlwind, but like it's just been forever since I read the manga, and I just had to get reacquainted with the characters and stuff. I probably should reread this part of the manga again. I probably will do that after I get the next volume, just because like I read it once, whereas I could remember a lot about the camp arc and the All for One arc, but that's probably just because it was A, so memorable, and B, it was I kind of reread that a lot just because I really love those scenes, particularly the fight with Midoriya against Muscular and the fight with All Might and All for One. Um, but anyway, and so basically they get separated, and Midoriya gets attacked, and we get more about how Midoriya's new armor works, particularly the boots, and how basically whenever he kicks something, like the metal plating on the top and bottom get sucked in, and then when he lets go, it pops open, basically delivering like a secondary kick, like a shotgun, basically. Sorry, I'm listening to my laundry. I bet you can hear it, but I'm trying to make sure something's wrong because I'm doing my laundry today. So yeah, I like that. And we get a little bit of stuff with Uraraka and Sero. We don't really see the rest of the class for a while. We don't see them really until more towards the end of this first part of the exam. We do get a little bit more in the next episode, and I'm gonna talk about that when I get to that episode. So, we get to the scene where Midoriya and Uraraka, or finds Uraraka, and she almost falls, and I really like that because we get more of Midoriya, like, talking about how he feels like he failed. If he'd been faster, if he hadn't damaged himself so much, he could have clearly been able to get Bakugo. All he had thought about was just trying to save one person instead of trying to save as many people as he could. And so I like it because, like, this time he finally, like, he does a dive, and instead of being unable to reach Bakugo, this time he actually reaches Uraraka and keeps her from injuring herself. And then he is able to get away from the students that are lurking after him. And then, of course, you find out that it's not Uraraka, which it clearly is obviously not Uraraka because, like, Uraraka lost her helmet during the skirmish, and when we first see her, she clearly doesn't have her helmet when she goes into sneak gravity mode, as she calls it. But when we meet, when Midoriya sees her again, she's not wearing her helmet, and also as she's falling, she doesn't use her gravity powers to keep herself from basically falling really hard onto her back. And then of course we see Uraraka trying to use her the capture balls to try and hit Midoriya's sensors, which he then slaps away, which is hilarious because especially because the look on his face is so angry to the point where it looks like he's going to say be gone thought or something like that. And just before anyone says anything, I know that meme, and yeah, I know that meme's old, but I find that meme hilarious just because it's so dumb, but I kind of like it anyways. And I know probably the thought thing is probably a little too, but I've never actually I found that it's so used so comically. I don't even think it really has a lot of meaning to it. But yeah, and then so Midori basically, and I give credit where credit's due because I love that Midori actually knows right away that it clearly wasn't Uraraka, but he still saved her anyways because he knew she could get hurt. And then of course we get the really infamous scene of Cammy melting off her disguise as Uraraka, and then she's completely buck naked. Although I give the anime credit, they actually make it look more like she's got a bodysuit on. It's kind of supposed to be implied because her hands, feet, and her face have her regular skin color, but the rest of her body is pale white, as if she's after shedding her disguise, it's kind of covered in the liquid melt of it, like a white liquid or it's like a glue, instead of having her body completely be skin color. I think it's kind of trying to more imply that she's wearing a bodysuit, but I don't know. It looks way too skin tight, and I think you get a shot of her butt, I think, at one point, and you clearly see her butt. It's not wearing like a skin tight jumpsuit. Like you wouldn't see like each butt cheek basically. And I'm not trying to be a pervert. I'm just saying from like the standpoint of like of design wise, most anime bodysuits do not like cling to like a person's butt that closely. So, we get that fight between Cammy and Midoriya, especially where she tries to imply like she has some sort of weird technique that she can use that allows her to, by making your mind go blank, it allows you to like disappear. Or something like it's more or less kind of like I'm not really like how people like in Dragon Ball Z can disappear by like completely hiding their ki. Which I think in the original Dragon Ball, Mr. Popo actually taught Goku to do, and it's doing so in a way that like you basically have to clear your mind and allow yourself to fight with instinct slash by like letting your thoughts by like clearing your mind of thoughts, so you're not letting your ki be manipulated by your thoughts or something like that. Or like how Luffy tried like Luffy fought purely on instincts using to avoid Eneru's mantra in One Piece. Like I said, it's hard to explain because like I've seen anime do it where like the person says like, I clear my mind and I move without thinking, which allows me to move silently or something like that. It's like a real martial arts like thought process, but like it's hard to explain unless you've seen the episode. I don't know why I did that. I think I was trying to check and see if I had something in my teeth on camera. I don't know why I did that. So yeah, the Nuraka and Sarah shows up, and it gives and so that way Cammy takes off, and then they discuss what they're gonna do and like what's going on. And then we get the next episode, which I think is actually kind of filler. I mean, we do get the part where Todoroki fights a bunch of like these these students from a school that kind of dress like ninjas, and they have like all this this tech and like plans to defeat Todoroki because they figure he's probably the most dangerous threat of the UA students. Such as using nails and like nuts and bolts that are made out of tungsten, which is a heat retardant metal that can't be like melted basically to use against Todoroki's fire. And then like a couple of them have water and I think kind of implied to be mud / like sand quirks that they can use to counter Todoroki's flames. Oh no, yeah, and the metal pieces are actually more used to break through Todoroki's ice. Which I don't think they show fully in the manga. I think here they actually show most of it. Whereas I think before it shows a little bit of Todoroki fighting them with like against the tungsten weapons and the dude who can enlarge things. But I don't think we get a full out fight. So I think they actually like expanded on what happened with Todoroki's group as well as what happened with Yaomomo, Yaoyorozu, Jiro, Tsu, and Shoji, because I don't think they actually showed a lot of that. Like I said, it's been forever. I don't remember seeing this in the manga when I read it. I'm gonna have to probably go back and double check, but I feel like this episode's not entirely filler. And to be fair, when I say filler, I don't mean like the kind of filler where where it's like 3 seasons of Naruto in between the Sasuke retrieval arc and the actual beginning of Shippuden kind of bad filler. I'm talking more like they actually expand on some scenes from the manga, but it's not technically real, but I liked it just because it's a lot like Tsu's actually seeing Tsu's internship in My Hero and in season 2 of My Hero Academia, where we actually see her help with fighting the drug smugglers. Todoroki manages to defeat them using the train because like they clearly, like, he clearly realizes, well, if they made this terrain to be as real as they did, they probably wanted us to be able to use the terrain to our, to our advantage. And he's in, like, an oil refinery area, so he tricks them into creating, like, a smoke screen, and in doing so, he creates a fake flare to make it seem like he's leading them to them, and it's actually a flare, and so he uses his ice to pierce an oil tanker, and then ignite the tanker so that it explodes and knocks all of the people unconscious long enough for him to cover them in ice so that they can't move their limbs, and then he proceeds to use his capture balls to take them all out. And then we get to the part where Todoroki, because I think it shows Todoroki getting into a fight and him realizing how dangerous it is for him to go alone. And then I think we cut the Todoroki defeating them. And then we get an explanation of how the sensors and the orbs work. That basically when you've defeated 2 people, the sensors will light blue and it'll tell you to proceed to the holding area where you'll get a special key that allows you to take them off your clothes, and you also have to return the balls. And then we get to something from the manga where it turns out the Wind Kid from Shinketsu High, the other character that's going to be as important as Cammy, whose name I cannot remember, even though he's actually really important. Especially because in the last episode he's the first person to win he's the first of the 100 people to actually win, and he does so using his wind quirk to knock out 120 people in one hit, in one go. Showing how he really is as good as, like, probably as good or better than Todoroki. And it also shows that he has a grudge with Todoroki, which is probably why he didn't stay at UA, and why he decided to go to Shinketsu, because he has a grudge against Todoroki. So there's that. We'll actually get more into him, and I swear I feel so bad I forgot his name, but, like, it's been forever since I've read volumes 12 and 13. I'm probably going to go back and reread them. I'll probably skip a lot of 12 just because a lot of it's Midoriya getting his gamma armor and for the first half, and the other half is the beginning of the fights with and then basically more or less is the first round of the Provincial Hero License exam, whereas the second half volume 13 is mostly the second half of the Provincial Hero License exam. But anyway, getting back to the rest of this episode. The rest of this episode is focused on Yaoyorozu's team, which consists of her, Jiro, Siu, and Shoji. And they're going up against, like, an all-girl hero school. I actually can't remember the hero. I don't remember this hero school, nor do I think they really give this school a name. But basically, they're being led by this girl who I do remember from the manga, because I think they explain her quirk, because, like, it's like a little moment where, like, they show these girls, like, are watching the rest of the teams, and they see Yaoyorozu's team, and I don't think we actually see the fight. We just see that they're going after Yaoyorozu's group, and I think later they shows that they won at the cost of, I think, Jiro, like, damaging one of her earphone jacks. Although I don't remember her having an injury from her earphone, of losing one of her earphone jacks getting damaged. Nor do I remember her losing one of her speakers, but again, it's been forever since I've read this part of the manga. I feel bad saying that constantly, but I do not remember this part very well. Not to say that it's bad, it's just it's been so long since I usually need to read manga a couple times before I really get all the intricacies and, like, remember it really well. So, basically the leader of this group, she has an IQ of 105, but whenever she drinks tea, it actually causes her to gain, like, a boost to her super her genius intellect. So it probably boosts up to, like, 200. Apparently, like, depending on the teas, it makes her it'll actually give a better increase to her intelligence. And so basically it shows how, like, she's clearly prepared. Like, she's created plans for, like, if going up against any of the characters of Class 1A. And how these girls will follow her to the letter. And so basically they create a plan to pin Yayorozu's group in a building where they will shut all the doors, use special sound attacks to nullify Jiro's ability to listen, seal off all the doors and stuff so that Shoji cannot use his ability to use his dupla arms to use his eyes and to increase his eyes and ears to increase his sensory abilities. And also they pump cold air into the room to drop the temperatures, which will cause Sue, whose quirk ability is that she has the abilities of frog, will cause her to start hibernating. They've actually brought up that, like, she, like, gets sluggish in cold weather, and basically her body will actually cause her to hibernate in cold weather, which I feel is, like, kind of a really big hang-up for her. Like, I feel like her suit should probably have things that allow her to warm her body so that she can trick herself into not hibernating. And so basically, they do all this to knock everyone else out. In fact, they also managed to damage Jiro's earphone jack by having a sniper outside. I guess her quirk is that, like, she can, like, supercharge her projectiles to make them fly really far, or to make them like sniper bullets. Because she also has, like, gear that allows her to, like, basically have, like, a super powerful slingshot or something like that. We actually, I don't think, get any explanations for the quirks except for the leader. And just how her quirk works. So basically, she disables everyone but Yayorozu because there's not really a plan for her. Like, there's not really a good way to plan out how to defeat Yayorozu's quirk, just because she can do just about anything with her quirk. And so basically, like, the air pump thing is actually also a way to disable Yayorozu by basically, due to the fact that there's the cold air is being pumped in from like 8 or 9 vents in the room. Yayorozu will probably most likely try to create something that will block off every single vent in the room, thereby wasting most of her lipids, and she'll not be able to A, make a lot of large things, and B, will be so out of lipids she won't be able to move. And so Yayorozu at first doesn't know what to do until she, and this also goes into actual canon about how at the very end where I was like, there's two people in this class whose passion and drive for being heroes, even though they don't like each other and they don't really actually know that they inspire the others, because of their passion and their drive to be heroes inspires the others, and it allows them to move just that little bit forward. And that's what makes this class so good, because they clearly have the drive and want to be heroes, and that lets them move forward as great heroes. But yeah, and so basically she thinks about what Midoriya would do, and how, his whole thing is like, I know, and basically she goes back to like when they were going to do the Bakugo retrieval unit, and how he's like, if I were stronger, I could have gotten Bakugo back. I have to try and get him back now, even if it means if I fail, I still have to go. And so, like, Yayorozu realized, Midoriya wouldn't give up, and he would find a way, even if it means maybe damaging himself or getting injured, because, like, heroes should give their all, regardless of what happens to them, as long as they can protect others and save their friends or people in general. That's what matters. So Yayorozu realizes that, like, this whole plan hinges on them acting on the defensive before they get out, like basically trying to like prevent themselves from getting further defeated. And instead Yayorozu goes on the offensive by creating a giant speaker that is used to create like a sound frequency so high it messes with the inner ear and knocks everyone out. And so she does that and creates a bunch of speakers and uses that to knock all of the girl's classmates out, except for her, which I think they didn't really count on. Like, she manages to not get knocked out by the effects of the sound wave system. And so Yayorozu lets all the others like knock everyone else out, or use since everyone's knocked out, they use their orbs to defeat them. Except for the leader, she manages to pull Yayorozu back into the room and lock them inside together. And so, Yayorozu, who's barely able to move because that thing she created did wipe out most of her lipids, but still decides, I can't give up now. I think part of it's a great way to show that like how much she's learned from her final exam, that she can do it. She doesn't give up, and so she uses a little bit more of her lipids to create handcuffs, so that the one hand with the orb that was coming at her she can guide away by like handcuffing herself to her. But before the girl can use her other hand, even though like she thinks it's a struggle in vain, Siu reawakes and uses her tongue to grab the other arm, and she's like, "What? I thought you guys would have figured she would have been defeated." And Jiro's like, "Maybe you guys would have thought that, but we as class of you, we students of UA, we don't just go forward and save a few people. We don't just go for partial victories. It's all or nothing for UA." And that's one of the things I love about this show, and how like, heroes don't just go for partial victories. Heroes win, and it's all or nothing. It's not just, oh, you managed to save some people. No. Like, we're the class 1A. We do not just go for victories. We go beyond, plus ultra. That's why I really like this, even though it's technically filler. It fully shows why Aizawa. It's more proof of why Aizawa has such faith in these kids, and why he knew it was okay to not tell them about the UA crush, because he knew it wouldn't have mattered anyways. They would have figured it out on their own, as well as just the fact that like this test is just a stepping stone for them. They cannot be hindered by this. They have to move forward to become great heroes, and this is just another point for them to keep moving forward. So yeah, in general, I think episodes 16 and 17 are very good episodes of My Hero Academia. I think even though it's technically filler, I think episode 17 is really good, and I think it really shows how much the anime cares about being really good. And as this has almost been a half an hour vlog, I think you get why. Next week, I'm going to try and just do one episode of My Hero Academia and one episode of Build. You're probably going to get My Hero Academia first, just because I will be able to see that before I'll see episode 47 of Kamen Rider Build, just because of where I watch it. And besides, I want to try and get it done since we've only got a few episodes left, and then we'll be getting a new Kamen Rider series started with ZO. Last of the Heisei series riders. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for this week. Bottom line, I think I had a great 2 weeks worth of stuff built up here, and I'm looking forward to what comes out next. So until then, guys, I'm Zangetsu 134. Take care.